Hello, and welcome to this mini tour of Artprize. Once again, the purpose of today's tour is to, show you these works of art that caught my eye. And I've been to Artprize now about 4 times, and each year, there are different exhibits there. Some of the exhibits come there, they're put on display, and then a lot of them are sold. Others, just the artists take them back. Some become permanent parts of the landscape there at in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it really does add to the city. And so, why don't we go? Okay. All right, this is the first one. This is called 100 Death Masks. Now, and that's what it is. These are death masks. Do you notice anything that all these men have in common? Did anyone guess that these are all the masks of men of African American descent? These were death masks taken of African Americans whose lives have been ended by violence. And and there's 100 of them down this row. And see, that's you can understand already what the artist is trying to say. Art doesn't have to be snooty or um, hard to reach or anything of that nature. And come here. Hello. Yes, there we are. Next, please. Now this, can anybody tell what this is? Take a good look at it. It was three-dimensional. Can anybody pick out faces? Of course, there's Abraham Lincoln. There's Martin Luther King. There is an airplane. There's an American soldier, a bicycle, a banjo, a football helmet. Can anybody see what's under all these things? If your guess is the American flag, then you would be correct. But yeah, American Mastermind is the name of this piece. Now this is my favorite piece of all. This is just a painting. It's called the official name of the painting is Redemption. You can see an angel there on the floor. It's obviously a church here, but if you look at her dress is tattered, and she is appealing to the heavens, and the light of God is shining down upon her, the light of forgiveness. Or you can interpret that 1,000 ways. I just think it was beautiful, moving, and inspiring. And so, yeah. Yes. Now, this one is called, this is a sculpture. And this sculpture was inside a building in downtown Grand Rapids that locals call the building the Bob. And the Bob is an old office building that had fallen into disrepair in downtown, and they were going to tear it down. And somebody said, "Hey, why don't we make it into a bunch of trendy bars and restaurants?" And it's one of the sites of Artprize. And so this one is called As You Would Do. It is a quote from the Bible. As you would do unto the least of these, you would do unto me. Basically, the artist is, of course, exhorting people to treat each other with kindness. Treat it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. Okay. Oh yes, this is another one. This obviously is an eagle. Can you guess what this eagle is made out of. The material used by the artist to construct this eagle. Let's see. And see, this is what I love about Artprize. It's different. The artist conceptualizing uses different materials. Look at that. Yes. I mean, who did that? I mean, who has the creativity to do something like that? And it's beautiful. It's perfect. It's an eagle. Yeah. Now this one was in a church in downtown Grand Rapids, and you say, well, it's just a statue, but the statue itself is not what is so amazing about it. What is so amazing about it is what the statue is made of. And this statue is carved from the nests of bald hornets, big hornets, these big hornets' nests. And the artist, I guess found a way to capture them, not capture the hornets, but probably exterminated the nest, but then took the nest down. And hornet's nest, are made up of lots of fine plant shavings and hornets secretions, spit. And the artist took that, shaved it down, and then lacquered the whole thing with all these, with all these, bald hornets. That, so you can see right there. This one is a permanent addition to the city of Grand Rapids. It's a walkway tunnel right next to the, Grand Rapids is called the Grand Rapids because it is next to the Grand River, the River Grand. And so this is a walkway tunnel that the artist, decorated and illuminated with these blue lights to give an eerie, beautiful blue effect. And see, this is Artprize. This is Artprize. I mean, really, it's just cool stuff. This is called Cloudscape. And what it is, it is a painting. It is a painting on metal, but you have to admit, it looks like a photograph. And I saw this, and this thing was about 5 foot high by about 8 feet wide on a piece of metal. And, the artist was able, using a special kind of paint, I don't know, maybe he adhered on and sprayed on, and it really does. It looks like a photograph. Good stuff. I don't know why I took this picture and kept it, but the art, it's called Crazy Cat Lady. Yeah, and it's quite obvious what that is. Yes, this one adorns the front of, if you look on canvas and you wonder what that is in canvas, what that statue is, it's this. This statue, by the way, sits in front. This is, you can see that right there, the Gerald R. Ford. Gerald Ford was a native of Grand Rapids. Gerald Ford, the president of the United States, came out. Gerald Ford was the only president of the United States to never be elected. Yeah, true. He was never elected president because he became Nixon's vice president, as I'm sure you know, after Spiro T. Agnew was basically caught. He didn't pay his taxes. And so he had to step down from office, and Gerald Ford was a member of the Senate, and he was then made vice president. And then, of course, Richard Nixon ran into his issues, and voila. Suddenly, this guy who's never been elected as president is president of the United States. A nice man, Gerald Ford. A nice man, but in fact, he lost a close election to Jimmy Carter. I think he would have made a good president in his own regard, but the Republican Party was just so damaged by, the Watergate. But anyway, getting back to this sculpture. This is a sculpture made out of uh, plastic, and it is called The Desecration of Adam. Now, if you look at this sculpture, you might be banging your head and saying, that form looks familiar. And what it is, if you have ever looked at the centerpiece of the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, that's the creation of Adam. That statue is in the same form of Adam in Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam from the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, with a few slight differences. Obviously, this man here is portrayed to be of African descent. Notice he has a bald head. Notice, yes, he is partially bound by ropes, and he has a snake coiled around his head. This was a prize winner, by the way. But yeah, I mean, once again, the artist is commenting on the plight of African Americans in this country. And so, yeah, the desecration of Adam. This is, I think I sent you this one, and I didn't really talk about it too much. But I mean, this was a exhibit. It's called Duffel Bags of Dishonor. Now, I'm sure you can recognize that these are military duffel bags. Duffel bags are what soldiers carry their possessions around in from place to place. Now, you say, okay, it's a bunch of duffel bags stacked together. What about them? Well, on the other side, the bags have locks and serial numbers of female soldiers who have been sexually assaulted in the military. Yeah, it's kind of a thing in the military that they don't like to talk about a whole lot. The simple fact that oftentimes females who go into the military is still viewed by some as a man's world, and women, unfortunately, sometimes are victim to sexual assault. I personally have a friend who went into the Army, uh, pretty girl, and she went into the Army, was stationed in Germany, and one night she was in a bar, and in the bar itself, she was raped by three of her fellow soldiers. She complained to her commanding officer. The commanding officer told her to soldier up and shut up about it. That happened in the 1980s. I mean, she was a lovely girl. It made her, though, it hardened her heart, though. She changed after that. And so, yeah. This one, also found in the Bob, is called Edgar Allan Poe. Pretty nifty, huh? I mean, you can see this is the face of Edgar Allan Poe, for those of you who are familiar with literature. Yeah, this is the face of Edgar Allan Poe. And notice that Edgar Allan Poe, instead of having the sun behind him, the sun is drenched in blood. Notice that he's surrounded by crows, quoth the raven, nevermore, that his robe is black. And this staff he's holding is not quite a cross. I mean, it could have some kind of a pagan symbolism attached with it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just different. Okay. This one, oh, you're saying, okay, Mr. Horton, this is just a portrait of some guy. And this is why I love Artprize. Here's your question. Can you guess how the artist, and this is a very well-made portrait, but can you guess how this portrait was made? Let's see if we can get a little closer. And that does us absolutely no good. So how did the artist create this image? The artist, get this. I mean, this is incredible. The artist took lipstick and then applied the lipstick by kissing the canvas repeatedly over and over again. I know it because this thing here, the description said so. That this image was made by the artist kissing the canvas. And this canvas is about 5 feet tall and about 4 feet across, maybe 3.5. I mean, so yeah, I just think it's wild. Now, this one, Artprize Fall, this image of, if you look at it, basically it puts you at the bottom of a hardwood forest and you're looking up at trees and in fall foliage. But what is unique about it is that these images are a mosaic where the colors are made by, well, their shoes. The artist took recycled athletic shoes of various colors and cut them up and then made this image here. How does anybody even think about that? It's just incredible. This one I just happen to keep because it's just a painting of the fall of Grenada, which is a very important battle in 1492 where the Muslims were driven out of Spain by Christian forces in 1492. It's really not unusual for any other reason than that. So, yeah. This one. Another metallic painting here. But what I want you to look at is here. These are actual license plates. Give me your tired, your poor, huddled masses yearning to breathe free. I was a stranger and you took me in. Basically, quoting two famous sayings. One, of course, talks about there's a saying on the Statue of Liberty, and the other comes from the Bible. I was a stranger and you took me in. And where'd that guy find all these license plates? Alabama? But yeah, pretty cool. And this is a metallic painting of the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, this is a pen and pencil drawing, and there's a series of these of the 7 deadly sins. This one is called gluttony, and I think you understand. You get it. The artist has the Big Mac here, person reaching, and yeah. Yes, this one once again taken in the bob. This is called Gone Too Soon, and it's just a depiction of various comedians. What is his name? Who's on first base? Of course, that's Robin Williams, John Belushi, John Candy. This is Curly from the Three Stooges. I keep wanting to say Stan and Laurel, but that's not true. Laurel and Hardy. No, that's not true. What is his name? Famous they did the Who's on First. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third. That. And I'll remember it eventually. See that's the see the comedy routine right there. Buddy. Another one. This is called I Touched His Robe. It's also in the Bob. It's religious. And you see all these people moving around, and the only color is this woman reaching out from the crowd to touch the robe of, you assume, Jesus. Okay. Oh, look at this. I'm sorry I had to give this away and include that in there. This piece is made up entirely of duct tape. These images, it's not a photograph. The artist was so skilled at applying duct tape of different colors that he was able to create this image of these nighttime talk show host comedians sitting around talking to each other at a bar. Just, who can do that? Yeah. Duct tape art. This was a winner, too. See, top 5. Legos, right? Legos. The artist, by using Legos of different colors, created this image. Now, this one is called Man Against Conformity. And I took it because it just looked interesting. The wall, of course, and the wall and these guys here represent conformity. And here you see, human beings fighting against conformity. And yet, as they fight, you see this one here has grabbed his leg and he is already starting to turn. Yeah. Interesting piece. Oh, this is one of my faves. As you can see, that's a map of the United States. But yeah, look what the artist did. I bet you can't guess what this guy's thinking of. What is the point that he is making? And yeah. This one is another metallic painting. This is a map of Michigan. See, there's the UP up there, the Upper Peninsula. And I'm telling you guys, Michigan is a beautiful state. In the summertime, leave Florida alone. Michigan's closer, it's cooler, and it has beaches just like Florida does. And you won't get eaten by sharks. No. Or, well, you get bit by mosquitoes. Up here, and Michigan in the fall, there is no comparison. When those leaves start to turn in the hardwood forest, it's just, really awesome. This one is a permanent fixture in one of the churches. And once again, it's a mosaic. A mosaic is a piece of art comprised of multiple pieces of something to make a picture. Normally, it's thousands and thousands of pieces of glass, but this, instead of using glass, used buttons and costume jewelry and beads and all kind of things that you would find that person throws away out of their junk jewelry. And it was about 7 feet tall by about 25 feet across. And it's just amazing. Ah, yes, this one adorns the front of your homepage. It's called Motion. And by just using blocks of color, the artist is able to create the illusion of several bicyclists. This one is called Music in One Ear. And here you see various musicians throughout the ages. And this thing, these are doors down here, so you can see this thing is pretty big. I didn't get a good picture of this, but these are just blocks of wood. of different colors. And the artist created a three-dimensional picture of Armstrong's uh, first steps on the moon. This was a pencil drawing of Jesus, stood about 8 feet tall. And I mean, it won a prize because of the quality, because the guy just used black and white pencil. You know. This one, now see, that's a car there, so it gives you some idea of the size of it. This too is a mosaic where the artist takes multiple pieces of painted glass and creates a picture. This is three-dimensional. These people stick out from the building. This is the side of a building in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Oh yeah, I like these. I love recycled art. And that's what we're looking at here. This one was a prize winner for recycling art. Take a closer look and you see that this birdman is created by multiple pieces of junk, actually. You see cogs and things like that. The Phoenix. And see what happens is over the course of the 3 weeks, you vote on numbers. I mean, like I said, there are thousands of pieces. This was another recycled piece of art. Didn't win a prize, but as you see, blades of metal here, wire. Once again, recycled art. Here's an ostrich. That is made out of, this is a shoe. This is a rake. And these are rakes back here. Various pieces of junk that the artist was able to take and make into this ostrich. This one is called Self-Made Man. And if you look at it, you can see why. The sculpture is actually hacking itself out of the stone. Does anybody recognize this guy? It's Mr. Stropko, one of our art teachers. I've been to Artprize 4 or 5 times. And one time I took Miss Johnson, one time I took Mr. Stropko here. And, you know, this is a piece of art where the artist, all these faces are the same person. Every day for a prolonged period of time, the artist would paint themselves up in different styles of makeup. And they're all the same person. What am I doing? You stay right there. I mean, good stuff, right? Now, this is a three-dimensional piece of art. Here, you have a cigarette. And notice the cigarette smoke. The cigarette protrudes out into space. And of course, the smoke then becomes, I don't know, what an attractive female. This is another metallic piece. This is South Haven. South Haven is one of several beaches around Michigan. They call them New Haven, South Haven, German has several. And this is the lighthouse extended. And yeah, this is a metallic painting. I've actually been there. It's a nice scenic spot, and it has a beach. Now, this is a giant spider, but here's what's cool about it. The spider is made from just bits of piping and recycled kitchenware. This one is called Sprite, and it's made of wire. The statue is made of wire. This is a stainless steel skull. It stands about 4.5 feet tall. Yeah. Ah, yes, this one. And this painting, by the way, I'd say this is about 15 to 18 feet across, stands up about 7 feet tall. Does anybody recognize this guy? Come on. The name Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein. That name ring a bell? Probably if you've seen him recently, he's been pushing around a walker on his way to and from his trial for sexual assault. And this is called The Casting Couch No More. Here you see Harvey Weinstein has his hand on a young, aspiring performer of some kind. Notice she's really thin, but pretty. And it is no coincidence that his hand is down here. But notice over here, here you see a woman, another performer, but she is has a much more musculature here. And this is a can of mace. So yeah. I like this one. The fate of the native peoples. You can tell, obviously, that's the moon. This is a Native American. No, I'm so idiot. This is the Earth. This is the moon, and this is a Native American. What do you think the artist is saying here? That the only place eventually the Native Americans got pushed to was another planet? Yeah, I imagine it was a commentary. Yeah. This, called The Power of a Dream, and yes, these are actual footballs. Embedded in the painting, and the artist painted over them. Ah, yes. The Power of Belief. Once again, Gerald Ford Presidential Museum. Here you have a cat looking into a mirror. The power of belief. But notice that in the mirror, the face of the cat is a lion. Yeah, pretty cool. Now, this is one of my faves. Once again, not necessarily because of the image. I mean, this is a good image, a fine image, and things like that. It's what the medium the artist uses. Let's see. Anybody want to guess what the artist used? What are these things? This is a mosaic. Remember, a mosaic is a picture made up of hundreds, if not thousands, of separate pieces. This is a mosaic made of bundles of toothpicks that have been colored. Hundreds of thousands of toothpicks. Used toothpicks, by the way. Yes. The artist felt it was very important to use used toothpicks that still had human saliva on them. Seriously. This was just a torso. Once again, it shows that anybody can do art. So here you have a model torso for sewing, and the artist simply decorated it with junk jewelry. Yeah. I don't know what the artist is trying to say here, but I probably think he would agree with the one who did the map of the United States. This, though, is a cap pistol. And you can see how big it is by the people back here. This, again, is a mosaic of the United States of America. Each one of the states, and Kentucky has a horse, by the way, has a different picture, and I couldn't even get close to this. It was kind of frustrating. But yeah. This is another one of those 7 deadly sins pencil drawings. This one is called vanity. Now this, once again, would this be hard to do? I mean, come on, hanging a bunch of pots from the ceilings. And here you have all this red twine here. And what this is, the artist was Venezuelan. And the artist was commenting on the fact that in Venezuela, during the year that he made this piece of art, that the average Venezuelan, and this has been like 4 years ago, the average Venezuelan lost 15 pounds in 1 year. That was a country that was in a bad shape, still in a bad shape, actually. This one is from the Vietnam War. Recycled art made pretty much from recycled parts, you see here. I mean, that's pretty good work. Oh, I like this one. See, now this is a wheelchair. Okay, wheelchair. Now, how big do I have to make the wheelchair before you figure out what it's made of? Let's go over here, shall we? Figured it out yet? The wheelchair is made of, yeah, little toy soldiers. Wonder what that artist was saying. It's no coincidence that within Grand Rapids, Michigan, there is a veterans home. Yeah. This is a metallic painting of a birch tree, white birch in Michigan. Oh, I like this one. Look at these. First of all, look at the man standing in front of them, but look at what these statues are made out of. Wicker furniture. Pretty cool, huh? This is a cross section of a giant oak tree that the artist took and then carved and stained using these concentric geometric arches. This is called The World at War, and this is supposed to represent junk, and this person here is made of recycled tires. This is a painting on oil on, not canvas, but oil on linen, bedroom linen. Not bad. And this, obviously, is a rhino that the artist made of all of these squares that he welded together. And my wife was not supposed to touch that, but couldn't resist it. And that's it. Well, that's it, guys. That is the art show for today. And, I hope from this you get some sense that art is not inaccessible. Art is unique. Art is not just a bunch of dry paintings or dry sculptures or things of that nature. But I mean, art is creativity. And yeah. So anyway, that's our lesson for today. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will get back. We will get back to you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Come on. Come on, Johnny, you can do this. Okay. Oh, here it is. Here it is.